Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. Thank you for joining the virtual Islamic Banking and Finance series. Okay, this event is part of the initiatives taken by INSAF Alumni Unit together with our career services. Other than providing a student alumni faculty networking platform, the objective of this Islamic Banking and Finance series is to provide a platform for INSAF faculty members and industry experts to share new insights and also to discuss current issues within the Islamic finance industry that can benefit our students and also our alumni. Okay, for today's session, will be on development and challenges of the takaful industry. That will be delivered by INSAF takaful expert, Mr. Azam Shah Ismail. Okay, before we start, just a gentle reminder, please ensure that your microphone is on mute during the session. If you have any question, you may ask question directly to the speaker or type your question in the chat area. Please introduce yourself by mentioning your name and where you are from before asking any question to the speaker. Okay, without any further delay, I will hand over the session to Encik Azam Shah.
Thank you, Azrul. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to everybody, especially our participants. Yes, today is Friday, so we should be more relaxed. I think you can put all other things aside and hopefully pay attention to me. Okay, all right. Okay, relating to the challenges, of course, my topic is takaful moving forward. Takaful in Malaysia, in particular, has been around 30 over years. But still, there are some issues that need to be addressed to make things better. Okay, so let me kindly give you some perspective on the current landscape. Of course, in Malaysia, there are only 4 general takaful operators and 11 family takaful operators and 3 retakaful operators. Earlier, of course, before IPSA came out and several years back, of course, takaful operators were run on a composite basis. That is, the takaful operators can do both family and general. But with IPSA, and they have 2 splits. So it's, unfortunately, not many. There are not many tickets for the general business. But the mainstay have been in the family operations. Okay, maybe you can see the reason why later on. Of course, there are takaful companies which are windows of the parent, conventional parent. Okay. So let's look at the growth. Firstly, the family takaful growth. Penetration rate has somewhat increased to 18.6% in 2020. So this is based on MTA report, last year's report. Yeah? And of course, there's been a double-digit growth in terms of contributions compared. So in spite of the pandemic, the growth of takaful has been quite good. Okay, I think in fact some companies in fact have achieved great strides because of the pandemic. Like I say, maybe the pandemic reminded everybody they need coverage, especially on the medical area. There's a big chance of everybody becomes what they call being critically ill or even dying. Okay, so people are reminded of that. So you can see that new certificates issued has been quite I mean a big in 2020s have being hit the 1 million mark in a way for 1 year. So the total certificate in force is around 6 million. So it's been growing, but 2020 seems to be a much better year. So that's around 6 million takaful certificates in force. And then in terms of market share vis-a-vis the life insurance, you can see that new business total contributions have grown close to 40%. So if you look into the green one is from takaful, it's inching, and it does seem that new business contributions one point time match the life insurance contribution. By the way, there are 16 life insurance companies compared to 11 family takaful operators. Okay, so in the family takaful space, the distribution outlet has still continues to be agent, banca. Of course, banca seems to indicate here high contribution, 42%, but actually it's more of single premium business, single contribution business. The agents, the contributions are basically annual types of contribution products like investment link and so forth, whereas banca has been the MRTT product. Okay, so growing has been good. So here, business involved contribution. So, but still, the takaful market share only comes up to around 14 or 15% of vis-a-vis the insurance companies. So here again, business as talking about the certificates of in-force. Yeah. So correspondingly, new certificates had also gone up. So like say, one thing, if you're aware, of course, and the Malaysian, there are around 60% Muslims. So I think the life insurance industry is slowing down in that sense. It's difficult to penetrate the Muslim market, which is the majority population with life insurance. But nonetheless, still many Muslim Malaysian Muslims still buy life insurance or still have life insurance products. Okay. On the general side, growth has not been really that significant. So just when we talk about only having 4 companies, vis-a-vis about 30 over general insurance companies. So I think this is one reason why Bank Negara have, of course, this is a national practice, but Bank Negara wants the operators to put money where the mouth is, and really, contribute. I mean, it's kind of funny, but in the general business, that some buildings which are government-owned or could be owned by so-called Sharia institutions can still having general insurance. One of the, I would say, sad situation here is when we look at the classes of the general business, is very much predominantly motor business. And the reason being is that motor business is a low-hanging fruit, is compulsory. So people just switch from motor insurance to motor takaful because it's required before you can have your car on the road and get your road tax. Get your road tax, you must have insurance and so forth. Next classes is fire, and then the other classes is engineering or even MAT aviation or whatever, but that's very little. So the majority is still motor thing. So Bank Negara split as a company, and concentrate. If you really want to do motor, please do something about, especially getting into the other areas. So let's say the setting is still very motor based, and these are very low-hanging fruits. So there's more need to be done. Okay. So in the market, of course, if you look in, there's operators, insurers. I mean, of course, the couple of operators are not competing against the insurance only, but also competing against unit trusts for the investment products, even competing with banks. Because people, it's better to put their money in the banks than give it to operators. Very much dependent on intermediaries, and we saw just now, the agents seems to be the dominant intermediation. And then we have banks, sister banks, and maybe we also have brokers and things like that. But consumers basically comprise the individuals, mainly individuals. Corporates maybe takes up the employee benefits like INSEF. We are covered by Takaful operator for the benefits of our staff. But as just now, the general business is still very much to be desired. So, and all forces who are negatively affected by regulations, and I think this is one of the areas. So we have a big question: how do we bring profitable customer relationship? So issues, even though penetration rate has risen to 18.6%, it did not meet the 25% target set by Bank Negara of 2020. So we passed that, so we did not meet that. So with even 60% mature, certainly there's still full potential, but what needs to be done? But we are nowhere with that. Okay. Reasons in MT survey, 51% respondents said that they have little knowledge or even interest in Takaful product. Some view it being unnecessary. Many view it as being no different from insurance. I think maybe for some of you who have come in to my classes and so forth, maybe in the beginning also you do have this doubt. You see everything's being done. Yes, Takaful operators should be share compliant, but sometimes it does not translate to affirmative actions. So the value proposition of Takaful is not that apparent. Many feel that Takaful is an imitator, a follower of conventional insurance, unfortunately. So maybe it's this. Insurance products not easy to understand. Many of you, of course, have insurance, have Takaful policies, but I think I'm not surprising that you may have not read them thoroughly, even if you already have participated in Takaful, because sometimes it's difficult to understand. So public expectation, it needs to, to be more simple, and then so that they can see that they're treated fairly, the products are transparent. Of course, in terms of service standards, we want Takaful company to be more efficient. So I do feel that there's over dependency on the agency force. Agency contributed 60.60% of total contribution in 2021, but also at the same time, when it comes to anti-corruption, they have captured around 86% of the market. So, and it's been reported, I think, in a couple of years back, when they look at the complaints, 50% of Takaful complaints about mis-selling or misrepresentation by the agents. So maybe this would salt to the wound. People already have problems of understanding. Then you expect the so-called agents or intermediaries to assist you in understanding further, but they end up mis-selling or misrepresent what are ordered in the contracts. So, of course, Bank under the Life Operation Framework came up with balance scorecard that agents cannot obtain their full commissions if they do not meet the balance scorecard requirement. Besides persistency, one of them is, of course, is complaints. So there's still many complaints about the agency force, and being dependent on something which is not 100% reliable can be a danger. Okay. Of course, Bank Takaful also contributes 40% of the business, but the main contributor is in mortgage, single contributions plans or credit-related plans. So many says that in this business you are very dependent on the intermediaries. So this is important, that if you really, and of course under the law, the intermediaries somewhat have a parent authority. They can bind the couple operators, by what they've said. So there is a danger there. So yes, many couple companies do take the efforts to try to train the agents, but sometimes they still kind of emphasize on quantity rather than quality. It's the belief that you have more agents you have, even though the quality is not good, the more business. So this financial KPI on top line revenue is still bothering. For me, it's still a bother to the couple operators. So I think they start to look at the business somewhat differently. Of course, insurance insurance regulation or couple regulation, any regulations will shape the business. And insurance regulation, some insurance regulation, of course, are still applicable to Takaful. Example is the risk-based capital. Of course, it makes the Takaful operator, the capital requirement to be quite intensive. So complying with new requirements on governance and risk management, of course, add further work and pressure to management. You want to build up the business, but you want to. So in all the discussions that we have with a couple of companies, regulations always seems to be an issue coming up, and of course there will be new and newer regulations as the regulators will continue to protect consumers. So we are not in a situation where just now, as mentioned, consumers are not aware what the couple is, the understanding. But this is the market. In more sophisticated market, the regulators have said, well, you would you have to take your own responsibility. If you don't understand. So regulations cannot always be protective or overprotective for customers. But in current markets, there seems to be this philosophy that consumers need to be protected. Okay. So management of course need to satisfy both participants and shareholders, and there seems to be a conflict of interest in some ways. Very typical in the market is a sharing of surpluses. If one couple shareholder do not share surpluses of the participant, their ROE in couple will be much lower. Okay. So if it's lowest, would shareholders then want to be continuing the business and provide couple coverage? So what should it be? Of course, regulators have allowed sharing surplus vis-a-vis like in the Middle East, couple operators cannot share in the surplus. It belongs basically to participants, but in Malaysia we do allow it. Let's say because in reality, if they do not share surpluses, returns on equity will be lower. Our government and regulators may feel that there could be a push from couple of the parent companies to move out of this business. Okay. If it does happen, it will be very sad, because then we will not have an Islamic or Sharia approved insurance arrangements. Okay. We can also see in the lab, of course I'm not soon, but if you go to the MTA website, you'll see that many couple operator subsidiaries of conventional insurers. These are companies like AIA, Great Eastern, Prudential, the big one, Zurich, okay. MetLife. So there's only Etika, Takaful Ikhlas, Syarikat Takaful Malaysia, which are owned locally and by Malaysian. Of course, we have Hong Leong, but then Hong Leong Bank, of course, is local, but the Takaful, in the Takaful space, they're teaming up with MISG, so it's the Japanese influence there. So let's put it this way: if you're always a younger brother, can you overshadow big brother? What do you think? Yeah. So somewhere other there is this internal or whatever, yeah. And sometimes I do see, even though in the Takaful space, you have local companies having the major share, but whether they exert authority or not is another matter. For instance, you have AI, public bank. Would public bank just allow AI to run it, or they have locals? So I sit, I mean, on a board where you have local shareholders, being the majority, and sometimes it's quite difficult trying to, not able to counter, by the foreign international, management protocol. Of course, it's better. So we have to, how to do we want to do it? Great Eastern, you have LTAT. What do you think? Does LTAT exert authority on how to very nationalize, or is it Great Eastern running the whole thing? So there is this issue here. So can your younger brother ever overshadow the bigger brother? So listen. Currently also, there's impending threat of future tax. If you're talking about globalization, sometimes don't be surprised that foreign companies can have inroads to the Malaysian market via third parties without setting up the companies, and maybe through the internet and things like that. There's a company called Bima out of Scandinavia, which have many inroads into many Asians and developing countries. So we cannot rest on our laurels. So while compete, so that's why our competitors is not only within, but also from outside as well. So there are many, a few intakes here, lab engineering, so which basically can provide competition against the TACA operators, even the insurance companies themselves. Any questions so far? Okay, if not, so how can, so as Metata says, TACA operator going forward, moving forward. Okay, my ideas is centered around, of course, not just products, but basically looking at revisiting the Takaful concept per se. We may also look into new ways of structuring the Takaful arrangements or model, and of course we're talking about digitalization. I think they have some clue, or basically the answers lies within those areas. Okay. Of course, typically in marketing, if you want to have a potential, people look in products and services. So of course, so Takaful must see beyond Takaful as another line of insurance product. Just don't, even though you're doing a medical, you're doing a travel product, whatever, but there must be some additional input. Just for example, like in travel insurance, don't just cover from airport to airport, because a traveler, by definition, in Islam, is somebody living in the house. So you could have a coverage from house to house. So these are some differences, even though, subject matter to cover is again the same risk. So we must stretch, must stretch beyond its comfort zone, more things on inventory bucket. And as mentioned just now, just don't pick up the low-hanging fruits alone. It's already what, 30 over years, you know, but still in the general business, you're still doing motor and just fire. So these are the easy market, you know, and then the public market still looking to credit mortgage-related product because this is made compulsory by the bank. The industry must be serious to venture in other areas like agriculture, you know. So this is something wanted. Many Muslims, you know, in Kedah, in the northern areas, still dependent on the paddy fields, you know, and of course you have what do you call droughts, floods, covering them and things like that, and even pests. So this may be area. Now I know for one thing, even the insurance companies don't like to take up fire take-up, do not want to provide fire take-up for some businesses like the furniture factory, or, you know. So there are a lot of voids. So why take-up companies is not going to it, you know. So is it, yes, so this is where what the insurance don't do, take-up operators don't do. Why must that be the case, you know? What's the specialty and things like that, okay? And as mentioned just now, of course, for the collaterals and contract must be used in simple language and always seeking to do what is right for the customer, and then only what is legally required. So if we don't do that, actually new regulations like Black Framework came in, and because Bank Negara wants consumers to have fair deals. So I think this is very important, that we must go beyond, you know, not just compliance, to create better standards, better benchmark practices, goes to concept of excellence. So I mean, dare to be different in these ways. So there are many things. Even you are covering the same thing that, as I mentioned earlier just now. Yeah, for instance, if you have a personal accidents, why cover what do you call, say, why not cover mountain climbing? You know, because conventional don't cover mountain climbing, you don't cover mountain climbing. The insurance company don't cover racing, you also don't cover racing. Maybe you have to put new thoughts to it. After all, people who take up races, they have to get a proper license. You know? Yeah, I'm a scuba diver. So one of my background, you see, is islands. You know, I like to go there. Yeah, if you take a peer policy, many peer policies will exclude scuba diving, but you have to go through another a course in order to have a scuba license. So not everybody will just jump into the sea to do scuba diving. Okay. So when this license is issued, so maybe the take-up operator could be different in that context. So in terms of product, in terms of services, McKinsey says that if company continue to offer best-in-class customer experience, produce more times, it will produce more times on growth, and it will be more profitable. So try to compare the services between the couple companies. I think in terms of around time, you still have a big wonder. Okay, so be careful, you know. So turnaround times, and if you're a customer and you're the bad experience, it will just almost switch into the companies. I had a friend who had a slight accident. Of course, accidents are accident, but the company blames the person for being negligent. Yeah, but you have a motor accident. Yeah, I myself have been in two motorbike accidents. Yeah, it's you already have, you're lying in bed. Now, you know, you have to take medicines, you're still sick. Now you have to make sure that you submit your claims, because if you submit it late, it can be turned down and things like that. So worries. Recently, a Korean friend of mine is telling that in Korea, if you have an accident, the insurance companies will come to you and really, they are the one who basically take the first initiative. Here in Malaysia, you got to do all the things. So let's say you're already in bed, you're sick and things like that. So submitting insurance or takaful claims may not be on top of your mind. Will be really encouraged if, for instance, the operator or even the agents could come down and visit you and help you process it without you having to do that much work. So there's so much to be desired in terms of the service. The importance of being accessible, empathic. I mentioned to you just now, you're sick, please go visit and do the processing, help you fast and reliable. So still here, our intermediate, yes, they're important, but it's just about making sales, not providing after-sale service. So that's why, for instance, like if you look in a couple of commissions, after 7 years, sometimes you hardly see the agent because they're not receiving any commissions from the coverage. So in order to get commission, so agents will not, of course, not incentivized. But at the same time, if you try to spread, they will be against you because insurance do that. So why must I follow? For me, I think yes, you can spread all the commission that's been paid in the first 7 years throughout the whole policy year, policy coverage. So it will incentivize the agents to continue servicing you even after 7 years. If you look at the Grab example, these customers can hail a ride in 5 minutes, and you can order food. I'm a big user of Grab food delivery. I will sometimes take the car services. I mean, I can list 5 good reasons why I want to Grab. Some prices competitive. You can get your car. You know when your car is coming. You don't. I mean, if you have time, you can still do something. Last minute. So you don't have to wait that long. And then of course they can track. So if where thereabouts, and if you leave your things in a car, Mr. Achong, Mr. Ahmad, or wherever the driver sees, and there's a contact number for you to do that, this kind of things. So really, if takaful companies can imitate at least 70% of what Grab can do, there will be a big improvements. So besides digitalization, okay, we cannot escape that. So companies without a digital strategy, I think, cannot continue to exist. So technology is reshaping finance, okay, and they're lowering the barriers to entry. So I mentioned to you about insurtech companies and so forth. Just look at, we have complaints about that. There's also actually one thing also that favorable for agents is sometimes there's still a high number of fraud cases relating to the agency, misuse of fund and things like that. So companies need to go full e-payment systems. So agents do not get or do not have any contact with cash. And of course, customers must also agree to it. There's still some customers out there who may not have an internet banking account or credit card, whatever, still give cash to that. But there must be a way to reduce that. So then you have reduced complaints on the agency force. So this is an example here. Of course, onboarding and things like that is another area which is important. You can help with the frauds and also makes a better engagement between companies. Now, the COVID has pandemic. I mean, let's say everything have every cloud got a silver lining. So yes, while the COVID have created issues, but there are things to learn from it. One thing, of course, help. Coverages is now placed to be. It seems to be very important. for nations. But the things that we do, we have many insurance companies really pushing their digital initiative so that they can maintain current market share and businesses, not only with clients, but their intermediaries with the agents. Everything is digital. I mean, one of the things I like about it is that nowadays I don't have to go for physical board meetings because when the company that I'm engaged with, hybrid is the name of the game. And in fact, one of the good things is that when we don't have people coming to our office, we don't need that much a bigger office space. So that helps to reduce our costs as well. We can sublet that out. So digitalization has enabled us to do so. So it becomes more permanent. So in a way, business continuity as a result of pandemic has actually worked with digitalization, with technology. So companies who do not have good technology or digital initiative actually have suffered during the pandemic. So I mean, for instance, like you still in the industry out there, people secretly open up their factories so that the stuff can work, because they still run on manual. Automated, but not digitalized. By right, many of our factories can be digitalized and things like that. So because they never reinvest it. But actually for some insurance companies, yeah, we have done that. So we have learned about it. So we can run business from home. And it's also good for the reducing of the carbon footprint in line with climate change initiatives. Mobile internet penetration stands about 132% to 1% respectively. So in fact, I think maybe now it's higher, 145%. Some figures I've received that one out in Malaysia holds more than one phone, so about 1.45 phones. So a Swiss study confirmed that consumers in Malaysia are very digital savvy. Nations put greater trust in traditional online forms, because we have Shopee, Lazada, So, and then more so if we, from banks and insurers, which are governed, which are regulated by negara. So there are, still there are scammers out there, saying they're from the banks or whatever. But when you have the website, I think it's more legit. So buying or engaging or even giving permission can be better there. So increasing customer permitted with data plump help telco operators gain more traction in providing customer coverages. Okay, so this is where I think I mentioned just now, companies need to now invest also in offline platforms for its marketing, not just dependent on the tool, which should be the primary. Okay, so you can do it. So one thing I still see that industry players are still wanting to do things on their own. Maybe collaboration, it would be a name of the game. Like I say, there are some insurance partners. I think they don't need to reinvent everything. They can partner with this insurtechs to build up the businesses. Of course, online platforms for marketing of the or the insurance products still has limitation. Nations are not comfortable with sharing personal data. So may it be digital or even personal, physical with the agent and so forth. So of course, digital retail aspect, personalized offers matching their needs and things like that. So companies have to look into ways of trying to build engagement. So without advisors, so use of chatbots should be common. So there are chatbots we can basically look at being interactive, so that support and servicing provide quick estimates. You can live chat with customer during office hours, but chatbot during non-office hours and things like that. Of course, this is much better than the telephone calls that if you were calling Astro, you're calling some of the telco lines. You have to wait, press this number, press that number. I think we need to be better than that. So this is not the kind of chatbot that I'm talking about, but very more dynamic, I think like that. So, and of course, the data that being given so far can lead to greater personalization. So, and then of course, modify product, and also provide data for machine learning. So, if you purchase or you have obtained coverage from online platform whatsoever, they know your behavior. They know, I mean, for example, you put the data to say that you have 2 children and whatnot, whatsoever. I think essentially they come in when they have a good product that can help for your children's welfare and things like that. So they can prompt, they can. So your agent, if you have an agent, they don't tell you when you have to pay your next contribution, but it's online. You'll be prompted maybe through your mobile phone or your email, whatever, their contribution are due and things like that. So you can have the benefit of continued coverages and things like that. And of course, companies as well, with the good data, you can show. So imagine if you have a motor takaful and you have 4 cars whatsoever. So question, can you get exact reduction on your motor coverage for your cars? Nowadays, for instance, I just do it via online, get my renewal of car, so I don't have to travel out there to get my coverage. And of course, on top of that, they give me a 10% reduction. Previously, the rules did not allow for you to get a rebate, but not a couple companies can provide a rebate. So, but I'm just hoping one day when I can get further discount on my few other cars which I rarely drive. So by that, this discussion should help the actuaries within the company to look at, to have better data and can reduce costs. Now, just like digital banking, BM is considering to allow digital players to offer insurance and takaful product and service. They call it DITO, Digital Insurance and Takaful Operators. So one of the benefit of DITOs is that they don't have to have the 100 million paid-up capital required. The minimum paid-up is lowered to 40 million. But to get this license, of course, you need to address this issue. One, inclusion, enhance penetration of customers who are protection needs are currently not there. So penetrate, they want you to go into markets, the underserved market, have more innovative solutions, and of course, be efficient. So we're talking about services, and of course, greater cost savings. So you can exhibit that, you can do it. You can see in the digital bank, you can have Grab Bank, you can have DG Bank, the telcos. It's not the current big banks which are getting the digital. It's those people who are actually in the digital platform or the insurtechs who are front runners in this finance area. So I'm not surprised here as well. Insurance companies or takaful companies have been a laggard when it comes to digitalization. So you have digitalization, product services, but it has to be emphasis more on digitalization. But I also would, to maybe provide solutions how takaful can move forward better, is that may want to revisit the whole concept. What are takaful providers of property? Are they providing just insurance coverage? A takaful originate from Wakawala, which is the insurance guarantee, but with emphasis on ta'awun when we're talking about mutual corporations. So I think focusing on the product alone will not attract engage. I think takaful companies should try to build communities around people with similar interests of last time. So with that, I think people will interact, engage, and even trust takaful much better. If they do that, as I said, birds of a feather flock together. So yeah, takaful is supposed to be Sharia compliant, but as mentioned earlier, this is not fully exhibited or not fully seen by consumers. For instance, like Hayrat. Hayrat is a pool concept. The masjid provide there, for the community. I have a Hayrat scheme. I pay only like 50 ringgit per year for me and my family. So that is very, and of course, well, I have signed it up. Of course, I had to fill up a form initially. So there's still a lot of digitalization that can be done. But every time renewal, I've been reminded by my headphone or by WhatsApp that my contributions are due, and I just transfer it across to the bank account. So I trust them, they trust me. I say, is this coverage for me and family? Yeah. So if I put, I think even one time, even if you have your parents living with you, that is also covered for the 50 ringgit. So of course, there seems to be your contribution is tabarruk is like a voluntary contribution from you. And of course, we know that social responsibility is on the rise. These kind of things, something that takaful should take heed of. Community based around place of worship already has a big transfer factor. I mentioned to you. Yeah, I know there are scammers out there, but it's difficult to not trust the imam or the committee of the surau. I mean, they may have some efficiency, but when it comes to trust, I think, inshallah, I mean, you have that strong faith. Okay. So let's move from selling takaful. Certainly, even the word selling is wrong, because takaful is not an exchange contract, so we're not selling. But offering of membership to a community. If you have that change, then expectation of stakeholders also will change. So, yeah. So there's need of other financial services to be provided. Right now, takaful just provide financial services and or services related to that financial needs. But sometimes you need to be more, because some companies tend to provide Hayrat services for their members in terms of that. But I think there need to be more non-financial services. Yeah, there are companies in UK even offering services for you to find plumbers, electricians, things like that. Insurance companies, because insurance companies are reliable. The people, so if you have a panel, they also seem to be a panel which are reliable. So there should be some thought along that idea on the community spirit. So this will certainly increase the value of operation in takaful. We had a surplus issue. I'm saying yes, if surpluses want to go, but mention all takaful companies taking surpluses, our fee do not allow that. But if we have more community surpluses, the run point aspect could be retained by the community and could be used for the good of community. So of course, it's not to be shared with the participants, with the things. Even participants, I mean, for you have a takaful operators, you may have a surplus sharing. If you take a motor, you may get 20 ringgit or 30 ringgit. I mean, that's not much. If that money had been pulled together with everybody, I think a lot would be done, especially in increasing the penetration on B40 groups and things like that. Technology, we discussed about that. So in line with that community philosophy, you can give a boost if one is still with the use of technology. So it doesn't mean that you would offer any services which is less than professional. So even though, but really got to live that Takapo spirit. So maybe in the side of triple P, I would say Takapropers look at people, planet, and even prosperity of everybody, not profits for them. Okay. So I see the workshop you have to bring in. Of course, Bank Negara is pushing that Takaful behave differently, so they introduce what they call the value-based intermediation. I think it's also for Islam, for Sharia businesses or Islamic finance business, so the banks, but also Takaful. And on the VBIT, of course, we're talking about financial resilience. Is not talking about the company, but for people who are not able to care for themselves, Takaful companies must be involved. So that's why if this is relating to the digital Takaful, they must be able to serve this market to provide resilience, build up capacity of the community so they can be empowered to make decisions and shape their own lives. So under VBIT, they're also required to exercise all necessary functional guidelines beyond compliance. Don't just comply. Like I mentioned, try to strive even for excellence. Don't have to be told to do this. I mean, don't have to wait for Bank Negara to come up with guidelines and things like that. So even currently with the climate change initiative, about reducing carbon emission, a couple of companies should be actually leading inside there and helping out disseminate information to its suppliers, to people who is involved with or connected to them. Try to follow such that to reduce greenhouse gases, carbon footprints, and things like that. The company have to have that best conduct, and when you're looking from a shadow governance, this corporate governance only see the shareholder stakeholders, but I think in shadow governance we must see everybody, not just shareholders as a stakeholder. This include consumers, include intermediaries, include your suppliers and things like that. They should be expected the best conduct. Even employees of Takaful operations have to be also seem to be a stakeholder. Remember, employees of Takaful operators, they are investors in the company, but they don't bring money, but they bring in intellectual capital. So be careful. So this is why companies companies who do not recognize this fact do have high turnovers and lose good talents. Okay, I just want to bring you an example. This company in Laminate, for some who have read it, there are many also other examples. Laminate is a New York-based online insurance company offering low-cost renters and householders insurance. So basically, this is a general insurance company in a way. They self-claim purposely built technology. They use a lot of technology. They don't take in premiums. They just take a flat fee for has their admin costs. But they have a social agenda. Basically, they allow you to choose a non-profit from the company's list. Then you and everyone who choose this name community of peers, each community claims and paid out. If you have claimed, remainder of the premiums paid by the group can go to the community. Okay, so what would be your cost? So they're very linked to their social agenda. Of course, have high service standard. So Laminate takes 1 day to average to process claims. So they have a board to handle their requests. Only if they can't, then it will be sent to claims teams, human claims teams. So we're talking about just now the bots, not only chat bots, we can also claim bots and things like that. Now, importantly, they take a very positive view. I mean, of course, their memberships are millennials. So, you know, they believe that the old school the insurance model is based on an adversary relationship with the interest of insurance company as opposed to client interest. Insurance companies still look at themselves, not look at clients. So thus they always try to minimize payouts to clients, so to maximize profit holders. So this is where claims are denied. So that's why, you know, this is why not surprising that claims payments are rather slow. So if you still have to pay, but you pay slowly, so you earn interest on your monies. Now, they also feel that, you know, if, for instance, we already link the customers to their charities, so they do believe that this will counter any fraudulent claims, because these contributors feel that it's not them who's going to pay the bills, it is themselves who are going to pay the claims. If it's a fraud case, they themselves will suffer, and the community they choose will suffer. So I think they resist. So this is will be a balancing tool against fraudulent claims. We have accepted, I mean, fraud is quite a big, not only with agency fraud, but fraudsters by customers. But I think they do take this initiative. They believe, you know, and I think this is good faith. So that if we're doing it for this, and people realize that this arrangement, you know, is for themselves, you know, naturally they would take care. So this is where they get more engagement and things like that. Yeah, and I mean, I have some friends in Sudan. Small motor claims is something that Sudanese takaful operator don't have to worry. Many of their people, you know, I mean, this is statistics, you know. Here we want to put deductibles and things like that, you know, quota takaful, insurance and things like that. Because we have a lot of fraudsters there. If you have an accident, it's qada and qada. So they reda. So that must be, Allah must have reason for them to meet with an accident. So sometimes they just want to claim. They take it on them. This is so in Malaysia, when you have strike bank, you will scold you know, the driver behind who's at fault, even if your fault and things like that, you know, rather than settle it amicably and so forth. So, you know, we Malaysian, we still third world mentality, maybe, in that sense. Okay. So, there need to be a revisit. What is takaful for? And with that also, maybe in terms of model, yeah, we learn about Wakala, Mudarabah model, we thought that so forth. But I have not included that. It's in my course about what they call discretionary mutual fund model, you know. Just for instance, the example is like, you know, if just take the example of the hierarchy in all the mosques. If we have mosque 1, mosque 2, mosque 3, mosque 4, mosque 5, mosque 6. Now, if they all have hierarchy pools, right? If, for instance, the takaful operator becomes the management company, and which they are not paying, just like Laminate just now, I manage all your funds. I have the people who can do pricing. I have the people, I have the IT set up and things like that, you know, the chatbots. I'll help you market, you know. So that's still takaful, right? You're still providing death coverage for all the communities, right? So this is an extension of the community concept just now. Yeah, if one takaful can manage this so-called hierarchy kematian, it can then go bigger. That this is discretionary mutual funds of different companies, of different industries, and the takaful just remain to be the mudarib or the wakil and things like that. So I think here just in the lab, so we can learn from Lemonade. And all these mutual funds knows actually they are paying for their own claims. It's not them. So one of the good things about this, because as mentioned just now, regulation shapes the industry, is this big possibility that takaful operators in this way may not be subject to the insurance laws. Okay. So members still make part contribution to the fund, pay claims and to make operational, and they, of course, in this discretionary model, no all claim is payable. So this is where the management company can help distinguish whether claim should be payable. Okay. So of course, there are challenges whether the industry can unify into support of the DMF, actual self-managed treatment, whether the DMF is financial. So basically, so this is where you have actually in the company. Of course, licensing is an important thing, whether if you do this, Benegara things. But I think there are provisions, I think under Schedule 4, friendly societies and something can be exempted from the insurance law. So takaful operators who are just acting as the managers, the professional executors and things like that. So they also don't need that high capital because they are not paying for that. So there may be some changes. So whether here the patrons or the consumers who accept that, so this is a need to again educate the consumers. But consumers can accept. I mean, there are high funds which have go busted because not enough funds. Or there has people have received lesser benefits. When they make a donation or zakat, they don't ask about getting it back to them. It's already a donation. They don't ask. They contribute because they want to be covered. They think they want to help to the community and so forth. So, but when you scale it up or go into other forms of coverage like medical and so forth, would the patrons or consumers be setting the same rules of play? So there are some, but it's something which is worthwhile looking into, changing the whole structure of the takaful offering or model or business model. So 5 o'clock, time is up. Conclusions, I think takaful must ship up or ship out. The one being marginalized. I think let's say competing with Big Brother can be difficult. Being put in the same pot with insurers subject to the insurance can be ultra violent. I mean, even consider the life framework with. I mean, there are some regulations which really do not benefit the takaful operators and make it difficult. Regulatory environment. Certainly, we need different leadership. I mean, even different shareholders. So I think to see things differently. I mean, there are other companies in the US which works on this community concept, on this mutual. I mean, this kind of mutual is quite common in Australia, for instance. But of course, you need different people to look at it differently. So maybe the digital takaful operator can be that new kind of people looking at different things differently. So concept in takaful, we have the rich potential. So concept like the mutual takaful or digital takaful is untested, would be something providing the same answer. Mutual model has gone long history. Takaful is very much related to mutual cooperation, the ta'awun. Of course, we have the resurgence of new online, even P2P, peer-to-peers kind of insurance other countries coming into our shores. So we need to stand up and be counted, make a big contribution, change. That's the saying in change management. Sometimes it's not the lack of ideas that not make more forward, but we often do not want to leave baggages behind. So one of the things it needs us is put courage. I say, okay, put aside traditionals. Let's look at new things. Let's explore. Don't have do away with the fear. Okay. Thank you very much for your time and listening. And I'll be pleased to answer any questions that you have. Thank you, Azrul.
Right, thank you, Jezam. Okay, we have one question from in the chat area from Karina No. Okay, how can Takaful players support sustainable development and products?
Okay, yeah, that's an entirely. So just now I provide something with BBIT, but okay, just imagine, okay, and one of the things I mentioned just now, if for instance we, the surpluses of the companies is not being shared, being pooled, then from this surpluses you can reduce your underwriting requirements or fund for products for, say, the inclusion of the underserved market. I think that's one way. So yes, currently it's being looked into. There are some companies. Of course, we have Pelindung Tenang in Malaysia, but currently it's driven by subsidies of the government. What happened when the subsidy is no longer being given? How are we going to fund it? So that's a big issue. It also can be funded by zakat collections, because Takaful operators can be zakat collectors for their staff and so their agents and things like that. And then the zakat collection, if they give it to the zakat, the Sharia Council of the state, normally they will pass back for you to disburse. They can use these monies to fund for those kind of coverages. Okay.
Do you have any more questions from the audience? You can just ask the question directly to the speaker. Okay, we have a question in the chat area from Brother Mustafa Ademir.
I can also ask the question. Can you
yes,
hear me?
please. It's better that way, Brother Mustafa. Go ahead.
Yeah. I know you guys, so I thought maybe it's a bit of interaction if he.
Yes, please.
If you do that. Prof. Assalamualaikum. Long time no see. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, Mustafa, how are you? Where are you now, Mustafa? Are you in Turkey or are you still in Malaysia? We lost touch, huh?
I'm in Jalan Ampang next to KLCC.
Oh, I thought you were in Germany or something like that. Okay.
Yeah. Last time I saw you, you were after the motorcycle accident.
Okay, all right. So your question here, I think collaboration should be the spirit, rather than trying to do.
Another point, Prof, if you don't mind, like I'm more thinking, like not only in Malaysia but globally, you have this overview about the industry for so many decades now. Do you think there should be more consolidation, more mergers, more acquisitions in the industry? Where do you see this going? I mean, the health crisis was pretty good for the insurance companies, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, yes. Particularly company which has been on the board, we're able to reach beyond our targets, like say, some rather the crisis reminded people, hey, you can die, you can get sick, before that people forgot they can get sick or die. So, but now, of course, we had to spend quite a lot to be able to serve them during the crisis, In fact, so question is, of course, it's not here. Do you think they would buy or merge with digital advanced companies? Are you referring not insurance companies, but basically digital companies? I'm not surprised. For instance, like you have in Indonesia, they call it, in Malaysia we have Grab, so Grab have a digital bank. I'm not surprised that Grab could have a digital Takaful capability, but in Gojek in Indonesia, they become what they call a secondary financier, for small loans and things like that, So but all these companies started from being concentrating on the digital aspects, right, rather than business, So why not? I think that's something that can be, But certainly, if for instance there are already some insurtechs, insurance companies, they are just in the habit, they think, they are too big to fail sometimes. So by that, they should really talk to them. Of course, in my company, we are working with Cyber Village to develop P2P. So we're working together, and charging on per and arrangement will be on what they call per success basis. Certainly, yes. I think collaboration, and even I will also, why not allow the digital companies to come into this industry? Give them a chance, right? So
Another question I have, Prof, is like, I'm in the asset management space with Saturna Capital, and we know that from your class, especially as an alumni, I know that Takaful operators have the operations and the fund management, right?
Yeah, the family Takaful company especially, they have a large fund to manage, yes.
So are there any collaboration between asset management companies that
it's not surprising. There are actually, example, my companies, we have, in fact, more than 2 fund managers, external fund managers, whom we outsource the fund management to. So to get the best of advice, rather than doing the fund management ourselves, But of course, we would have the parameters like risk-based capital requirements under risk-based capital and things like that. Even on ESG and so forth, if we were going to ESG, these are the parameters. They have to do their own parameters sometimes, but it's infused together. So yes, I mean, I personally, right from the day when I actually ran insurance company, a life insurance company, I've been using external fund managers to help me invest the monies that I collect from the policyholders or participants. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else? And by the way, the rules now is more flexible. Last time there was a limitation on 30% of the fund. But now there's no rules, Mustafa, for your information on that. Yeah.
We'll reach out to you on the outsourced part for external fund managers.
Okay, all right. Any other questions?
Okay, seems quiet.
Okay, all right. Maybe as TGIF, so everybody wants to go off or leave. But, well, I mean, like I say, really, guys, take my advice. Ensure your companies have work from home facilities, okay? So you don't have to come worry about the traffic jams. And, the benefits of having Zoom classes also, I have many students saying it's very difficult to make the 6:30 deadline to come to INSEF to study because of the traffic jams. Now you can come to class at 6:30. Your punctuality is so much better than last time. Okay, there's no reason for not to be in classes. So likewise as well, please do that, and you will contribute to ESG certainly. All right, Malaysia will be audited in 2023 on its initiative on reducing carbon footprint. All right, under the Paris Agreement.
All right, great. Okay.
All right, thank you.
If there are no further questions from the audience, we would like to thank Encik Azam for the very informative discussion. Okay, don't forget to click the survey link shared in the chat area and complete the feedback survey. It's very important to us to improve. Okay, we have come to an end of our today's session. We hope to see everyone again in our next upcoming events. Thank you and have a great weekend.